Go. All right. Well, so we're going to go ahead and start kind of getting through the intro here. Really, well, I guess first of all, I'm Annette Cruz. So I am an employee benefits consultant with USI. So that's a HR consulting for those of you who don't really know that job. And I am a co-chair. There's 4 of us on our WEN Houston Speakers and Education Committee. And so we are constantly looking for the best and the brightest ladies, and a few guys too, to come and help our WEN participants and members learn and network and go further in their careers and their progress. So I'm hosting today. Our speaker is in leadership at Cheniere, Patricia Gallego. You gonna wave? And so I'll be reading her bio a little later, but we're really excited to have her here to share with us her learnings about excellence in operations. And especially as the energy business is consolidating, I know that efficiency is more and more important, although you could argue maybe it always has been, but that's always an interesting conversation and piece of the picture. So we're really happy that you're here today. A bit about who's with you on the call. And y'all, by the way, are welcome to be on your video throughout. The best time to be on your video will be in our breakout sessions that are coming up in just a moment. And then at the end, consider those your table talk. You know, when you come to our luncheons in person, which we will have again, but not quite yet, when you come, you always get to meet the person to your left and your right across the table and maybe hang around a little bit afterward to discuss what you learned. So we have tried to make that available to you. It requires really that you turn on your camera and that you know, imagine that you're in the room together. So we'll go to those breakout sessions in just a moment so you can meet some new people and stay connected. On our meetings, you know, we have women and some men of different tenures from really, it tends to be half and half, those with under 10 years of experience and those with over 10 years of experience joining on this call. And so you can look forward to meeting some really interesting people. All of our WEN members seem to be smart and ambitious. This seems to be the theme. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get our Oh, actually, I have a couple housekeeping announcements here as y'all come on before we go to our sessions. All right, so this is a snapshot of our board of directors for Houston. Y'all should all consider joining the board. The applications are in the summer, but you can take part in helping build WEN. All of the programming that we have, from mentoring to parties to the executive sessions, all of this is created and organized and run by members. WEN is a nonprofit organization, and we're just focused on empowering women across the oil and gas value chain. Also, a big thanks to our national and local sponsors. National sponsors here: Deloitte, Hunt, Opportune, Shell, Vincent & Elkins. And Houston chapter sponsors: Kirkland & Ellis, Cheniere, EDF, Hess, Iberia Bank, First Horizon, Brunel, Burns McDonnell, Lisco Lewis, Solaris, Waterbridge, Indium, Fragomen, Steeler Mitby, Yetter Coleman, CereWeek, and ICF. I know these are names that you all recognize. Thank you so much for sponsoring WEN and helping propel women further in the business. All right. A little info for those of you who are new to WEN. We are an international organization. We have 20 chapters across the US and Mexico, and we'll be opening new chapters. We continue to open new chapters. We have over 6,000 members. 2,000 are here in Houston because Houston is the starting ground. Our mission is to develop unique programming that provides networking opportunities and fosters career and leadership development to women who work along the energy value chain. All right, so now to meet some of these great people, go ahead and go to your breakout sessions. Introduce yourself, please. Let people know what you do, what part of the value chain you're in, and we give you a table talk topic. How focused is your company on operational efficiency versus other priorities? Companies are in different phases of their business. That's fine. Why don't you discuss, where your company is, what the focus is, and how operational excellence comes into it? All right, go ahead, and you'll be given the option to join a breakout room. Please do. And turn on your cameras. All right, people are going. So folks will be trickling in as they do, and Arlene's just going to be assigning them to breakout rooms as folks come in. Caroline, were you able to see your breakout room? Let us know if you need help. And Katie also.
So Annette, you are the only one staying with me here?
Yeah, well, Arlene is there incognito.
Okay. Caroline is there, yeah. Good.
So it's 11:40. Do you want me to do the breakout room to about 11:48?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, 11:50 is fine. Well, because and then it takes a moment for everyone to come back, right?
Yeah, so I'll do 11:48.
I think we're fine. Yeah, we planned 11:50 is fine for starting back again. So
okay, very good. Okay, so we have Caroline and Katie that have not joined, so they probably elected not to join.
All right, so I think I can stop sharing my screen.
Yes.
Do you want me to set my screen up?
You can.
So
might as well get it comfortable there. As many of these tech, web meetings that we do, I feel that there's always.
Is the screen now?
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Perfect. That's the one that I need to keep it.
So I'll read your bio before you get started and introduce you properly here when everybody comes back.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, chat. Show me the chat. Here it is. All right.
I can set here as well. Okay, and it's changing well. Perfect.
So Annette, are you going to do the closing first before the?
Yeah, I'm going to do that again.
Yeah.
So around about 11:45.
Okay.
We'll close up, and I'll go ahead and speak to. I'll go ahead and speak to the upcoming events. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, and then you'll stay on to close it out after the final.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll stay on until 1, but I think we should go ahead and do that because otherwise we don't get to do our announcements.
Exactly. All righty.
All right. I miss actually getting to eat during these events.
I can imagine, yeah. I think we all miss that kind of social piece that we don't have anymore.
I know.
Anytime now that there's a lunch meeting, I'm like, oh, I have to eat before or have like a big breakfast. But it won't be long, I think, right? Like people are getting vaccinated. I just got my vaccine this morning. Like
the first one or the second one?
Well, it's a Johnson & Johnson. So
that's exciting. That's exciting. I got my second one this coming Friday.
Okay, yeah.
I got the first one month ago because I got Moderna and it takes longer.
Yep.
Now, I was under the water for 2 days.
Oh, I've heard of Moderna. Well, all of them have those little malaise effects, I guess, afterward. She told me that I'd probably get like chills and a headache and to take Tylenol. So I just got it like an hour and a half ago. So hopefully
Oh, it's
I'll
gonna
last
be,
the meeting.
hopefully not. Oh, but that's great that you get the Johnson and Johnson because it's one
What?
shot and you are done.
Yeah, well, I found a little pharmacy near my house that was on a list. Like my brother found a website. It's a Texas site, and it shows you a map, and you can actually filter by type of vaccine and by whatever. So I wanted the Johnson and Johnson one, just one and done. And I don't know, everybody's got an opinion, right? I have one too. In any case, so I was looking for it, and there was one like 5 minutes from my house, and I called him up, and it said on the website that they had the doses. They had like 100 doses, and they were like, well, the waiting list, or it's all full, but get on the waiting list. And I called them yesterday, and they called me today.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But we are in a very good position in this country and this state.
Well, yes, yeah. Yeah, if you know anybody up in Montgomery County, let them know. I'm happy to tell them where they can get on the waiting list there.
Sure. No, that's great.
Vaccines up here.
Yeah, it's gonna be, but other countries are struggling and they are closing, locking down. It's really complicated. I guess we will be probably one of the few in the first line very soon. Because Europe is still struggling. I mean, just UK was talking this morning about opening, but not necessarily to international flights, just internally. So, I don't know.
Oh man. Yeah, it's not over yet, but it is nice to get so many people vaccinated here.
It is. It is. Has been a while, no? Has been.
I know. It's like the before time seems so far away when you watch movies and stuff, and even like reality TV that was filmed in early 2020, like Food Network or whatever, and you'll be like, oh, that was before.
I haven't seen my parents in 13 months, 14 months. Have not been able to. And that's really tough.
So you haven't been able to do what?
To see my parents.
Do you usually fly? Assuming, are they?
Yes, I fly because they retired down there in Colombia. They retired there 5 years ago. They moved there, and they had been in a nice area and convenient area, but the country was closed for a while, and here we were not able. I mean, it was very risky, and they just opened it 2 months ago, and I was waiting for the vaccine. Now I'm feeling more comfortable.
Yeah, wow.
But it's tough because you are, talking to them face to face, but it's not the same.
No. And the downtime that you can have together when you're just visiting someone, where you're just sitting on the sofa, sitting at the table. There's nothing much to say. You're just there,
Yes. And that's what they want, no? They want to see you.
Yeah.
They want to call you again.
All right. Looks like the countdown's on for the breakout sessions to end in 53 seconds. So we'll get going from there.
Hey, Marshall. I know Marshall.
Hi, Patricia.
Hey.
All right, people are coming back. Seven, 6, 5, 4. All right. All right, well, everyone should be popping back in here. Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to just give y'all, you probably already Googled Patricia by now if you're attending today, but I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit about her background. And then I'm going to hand off to her to start presenting. So Patricia is the Vice President of Operations Support at Cheniere Energy. She oversees a corporate-based multifunctional team delivering services to LNG operations in South Texas, Louisiana, and pipelines. She is the VP, sorry, I had a duplicate. With more than 26 years of experience in oil and gas, she has held technical and business operations management roles in both upstream and downstream environments. She has had extensive international field assignments, led offshore operations efforts in the Gulf of Mexico, conventional onshore and shale development in the US, and cryogenic and LNG gas processes in Equatorial Guinea. Now, with Cheniere, Patricia is known for her ability to build strong relationships across all stakeholders and all levels through effective communication and advocacy for world-class standards in asset safety, integrity, and reliability. She has a knack for identifying opportunities that increase efficiency, maximize value, and improve financial margins. She works to improve overall competitiveness through disciplined, process-driven approach to the business, setting strategic vision and executing, and then developing and managing people's capabilities. She has stood out for world-class safety and operational excellence protocols, resulting in record-setting performance during her tenure at all operational assets that she has managed. And in addition to her day job, she actively mentors a wide range of multicultural employees to promote leadership, capacity building, and creation of learning opportunities, both domestically and abroad. She has a great story and a lot of knowledge to pass on to us today. Go ahead and you're welcome to put questions in the chat. We'll probably wait till the end to answer them. We will have some polling questions along the way. With that, I pass the baton and let her share her expertise and experience with us today.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, everybody. And thanks, Annette. Thanks for the introduction. That's very kind. And thanks for having me here today. It's really an honor to be able to talk to this group. When I was talking to Annette about operational excellence, I think a couple of months ago, Annette, this topic is such a critical area in the success of the oil and gas industry, and even more important in these present times, that we get very excited about it. So let's talk about the present. You know, the pandemic and the market volatility just have offered a perfect formula for a debacle, and one of the right levers the industry can use is the operational excellence structure. And that's why I really wanted to talk about this today. Before we start, I need to introduce a disclaimer. This presentation contains certain statements that may be deemed to be forward-looking statements and to be considered confidential for this audience, exception for historical or present facts and conditions that are in the public domain. Okay, with that disclaimer, I will say that the agenda will cover the Cheniere overview. I love to talk about the company I work for, so I can waive it. There will be a short introduction on the oil and gas industry, and which will help us to visualize better operational excellence in that context. And I would like to close with, or by sharing in my insights during this journey, if you allow me to. So let's talk about Cheniere. There is always something exciting to say about Cheniere. The most common question we have when you work in these companies, what Cheniere means. Everybody always asks about it. And the company started in Louisiana, as a Sabine Pass area, as a regasification plant several years ago. And I'm assuming that the owners wanted to honor the French route. And it's a French word, which means a sandy beach ridge that is part of the strand plain. So that's really what it means. When I'm really honored to present this history of Cheniere, because Cheniere is a pioneer, leader of the liquefied natural gas industry in US, and this was, Cheniere was the first company to export LNG in US. I will clarify that this is for present history. That happened in February 2016, and probably the question in your minds is why not somebody else exported LNG before in US? But the response is really that Cheniere is a company with a vision. The changes in exploration techniques, moving to the shale revolution from the horizontal drilling, opened interesting opportunities. What I say interesting opportunities is acceleration of initial production and gas utilization. Cheniere saw this business earlier enough to become the first LNG exporter in US. And since inception has a proven track record of execution and operation. Today we have 8 LNG trains operating and 1 is still in construction. And each train has been delivered on schedule and really, I would say earlier than scheduled and the total capacity by basically each train constitutes a project. And based on total production capacity, combined Sabine Pass and CCL, we have 45 million tons per annum capacity installed. Cheniere is the second largest LNG operator and the 4th largest LNG supplier globally. So you can see here a very good picture as of end of 2020 and since 2016, Cheniere has delivered more than 1,400 cargos, which is equivalent to more than 25 million of tons of LNG exported from our facilities. And when I talk about cargos, is the type of vessel that you saw in the previous slide. And the countries on blue color in this slide are the ones that we can claim we export to. Those are represented by Latin America, Europe, Asia, and Middle East. I think that's the best way to represent it. Cheniere has a strong market leading position, which is impressive as we have gained it only in 5 years of operations. It's a company that can refer to its operations as a safe, reliable, and efficient. And it's because there is an operational excellence system in place backing up the day-to-day of our production. In Cheniere, we see the value chain of the model as we integrate gas supply, operations into our production, and we are also part of the gas supply marketing scheme, which makes Cheniere one of the largest physical gas consumers in US. Our facilities are highly reliable with water injection turbines, compressors in Sabine Pass, and electrical turbines, compressors in CCL. World-class operating excellence index in Sabine Pass based on benchmarking results, which was 2019, and it's a pace setter across almost all key environmental parameters that we have. So those are outstanding conditions really for our facilities. The best way to translate this proposition is visualizing the context in terms of production. 1 million of tons per annum at the facility level is equal to 0.13 billion cubic feet daily, as is delivered by the pipeline, which can power 800,000 homes for a year in any other place in the world. It's really impressive when we see the numbers in this way. And as you see, the value chain LNG embraces through the long path of the gathering of gas, transporting, producing, commercializing, and arriving to the communities, which is our fundamental goal. And allow me to go a little deeper here. And it's basically simpler than that sounds, but I would like to go through the process. It's a super cooled natural gas process. Once it enters into the facility, it's processed to a minimum 216 Fahrenheit degrees, which changes its stage from gas to liquid. So the volume goes in a ratio of 600 to 1. Really, you have 600 when it's gas and you have 1 when it's liquid. And at that point you can export. So that's the secret. LNG is very safe to store and transport. It's odorless and colorless and lighter than air when vaporized, which makes this process very safe and clean. And once transported to the destination, the process is reversed, which is called regasification in the other area. And then you have it available at home, which is voila, you have your end user doing it. The gas turbines that we use to power the refrigerant compressors are airplane jet engines. There are about 6 gas turbines there are 6 gas turbines in every LNG train, which can produce about 38 megawatts. It's 51,000 horsepower about. So you can imagine the magnitude of these trains. As mentioned before, Cheniere has 8 operational trains and 1 in construction, and across these 9 trains, enough gas turbine has horsepower to power more than 13 Boeing 747 aircrafts. So you can imagine the power dimension we are talking about here. So I'm not expecting you to get, but let's go to questions just to make sure that you keep awake as we are in lunchtime. So I would like to go to a couple of questions, and then just figure it out. You don't need to be precise because I'm not expecting you to be between one slide to the other. But a modern General Electric ES44C4, just the reference, is a diesel electrical locomotive, produces about 4,400 HP, which is equivalent to 3.28 megawatts. How many locomotives will be needed to power 1 LNG train? Just guess. Go ahead.
All right, we need a few more answers. And everyone's doing the math. Got your calculators, imagining what.
Yeah, I hope we have many engineers here today because I'm being so technical. I'm sorry.
All right, click it in. We need a couple more votes. All right, let's go ahead and count it here. We have a winner.
Yeah, good. Okay, it's tricky because obviously 40 could be, but really it's 70. So for those who responded 70, they use the calculator. I need to give the credit because you need to use the calculator based on the previous slide. So not expected, but good try. So let's move to the next question. If we liquefied all the natural gas in a pipeline from Louisiana, which is our facility at Sabine Pass, to Washington, D.C., how many LNG carriers would it fill? And you don't need to use calculator, just guess, because you will need a lot more time to do the maths here. So just guess, your best guess. I just want you to see the dimension.
Almost everybody's answered. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Good. They went with the worst case scenario, but it's 1.
I was thinking it might be 1. I was thinking, are we supposed to think that it's a lot smaller now? But okay.
It's 1 train. So you now you have the dimension of 1 train. It's just to have some kind of a reality view there. Okay, no, thank you. That was good. As I mentioned, LNG is one of the cleanest processes in the industry. The company is a pacesetter in the environmental arena among other 19 LNG plants in the world, and this is coming from the latest benchmarking study. But still is a very responsible company. We are pursuing different programs such as CO2 management solutions, clean power integration, and other programs to quantify and reduce emissions by monitoring and using digital emissions tracking. In general, the company is extremely focused in key efforts along the value chain to build in sustainability of LNG, which is something that everybody appreciates nowadays. And so if we talk about, in 2020, the company had its inaugural corporate responsibility report. Great achievement that makes us feel very proud, with about 70 different business metrics reported publicly between environmental, social, and governance. And one relevant metric that I will really like to share within this group is the increase of 21% in women and 14% increase in ethnic minority risk in management. So great, that's something that we applaud seriously here. And we hope that the industry continues doing the same. So other question. How many Olympic swimming pools could fit inside a cryogenic LNG tank? Guess, because it's going to be difficult. And the main purpose of this question is just to give you the dimension of our storage tanks. Obviously, many of you probably have not visited these facilities, but it's impressive.
All right, any more voters? All right, we got one more. Okay, we can end it. It looks like we have a winner. Everybody's going for the middle one.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
Everybody who said 160 is correct. So great job. 160. That's the Olympic swimming pools that can fit in only one tank of the ones that you are seeing there. Great. Good job. Okay. So I would like just to leave some reference here for those who wants to learn more about LNG. This is a unique and interesting process in the oil and gas industry. It's highly technologically advanced, clean and environmental responsible. So very good learning sources are some of these. The Energy Information Administration is a good one. The US Department of Energy will give you a lot of information on our regulatory arena. The Energy Agency and the LNG America is very good as well. So just if you are really interested to learn more about this industry. With that, and talking a lot about Cheniere because I like it, let's move to the oil and gas supply chain in general. So basically, when we talk about LNG, now that we talk about LNG, let's go to fundamentals of the oil and gas supply chain, where we are today and how operational excellence helps in this time of unprecedented cascade of events. The oil and gas industry is extensive. And I have been blessed to work in all areas of the oil and gas industry. And I can say that today, when I look back, it's like has been too fast, but has been too good. Covers significant different processes and business units. But the best way to understand this industry is by breaking it down in three main areas. Upstream, which we recognize as the exploration and production area. This section of the industry has the responsibility to find reservoirs and drill oil and gas wells, fundamentally. I'm really simplifying here, but midstream covers the transportation from the wellhead, and we could be called the first line of process separation of the large process facilities. And downstream is responsible for refining the oil and gas processes to a finished product to sell. I would like to really highlight here about the key things that have changed for unconventional operators in the past years, because many things have changed. But this is going to help more with our operational excellence view in this presentation. Oil and gas prices declined by 40% and appear to be lower for longer. And these are statistics that are available. The major land acquisition and exploration activities is over, and operators are shifting to development of core acreage. So it's more rapid initial production, and institutional investors are really requesting, and that's not a secret, they are requesting higher dividends, which is expected. Just part of the business, you know. Then the pressure to not only generate free cash flow, but I would say adequately allocate earnings between development, share buybacks and dividends is very critical nowadays. With that, once measures are taken, and when I talk about measures, I'm not going to be in detail, but we talk about what all companies are doing now, reducing capital expenditures, which in turn will drive down demand for oil field services and equipment, or I will say B, beyond trimming the CapEx, companies usually consider reducing demand for third-party spend. And I will add a C there, which is another common action, and it is the improving rates paid to suppliers. So one of all of that is applied. We really need to look back and say, do we have an operational excellence system in place to become significantly more efficient and help energy companies to sustain in a competitive position? And I'm talking about here is more disciplined operations that lead to higher production and lower cost. Not a secret that this new technology plays a crucial and controversial role in the energy today, but oil accounts for a large percentage of the world's energy consumption. You know, we are ranging from, I don't know, from top of my head, 32% for Europe and Asia to a high of 53% for the Middle East. So oil and gas is vital to many industries, and is necessary for the maintenance of industry civilization in its current configuration. So I'm sorry, I got so passionate about this area. So let's move to the next slide. I stayed longer than expected. But I want you to see the roadmap to the operational excellence. I really want to be very clear that operational excellence applies to any company, any process being part of the energy, and any business unit constituting the oil and gas industry. And with that, let's enter into another interesting point, operations. And when we talk about operations, it's, I don't know, but I have that experience. I was a new engineer and I didn't know what was the difference between operations and engineering and construction and consultancy, all of this. So you frequently hear, you know, I work for an operator or I work in operations, but the best definition I found about operation is when we integrate people and process to produce a desired outcome. And process could mean anything from input systems, equipment, technology, really. And once you execute these processes with health and with a health and safety and environmental responsibility, you are in that category of an operator. So again, my definition, not necessarily that you will find it in the books. But let's talk how, now that we have to operate within a structure, there is not a waiver to do it safely, reliably, and efficiently and productive. Really, I'm sorry, I'm always moving the mouse here. The definition of operation excellence is something that also sounds very philosophical, but let me start from there. More than technical, it's kind of philosophical, but works to me because it is the best way I really found to define operational excellence without confusing you. So what it is a way to work where problem solving, teamwork, and leadership results in ongoing improvement within an organization. That integration of a skill will not have the wrong outcome, I can assure you that. Fundamentally, when I'm really trying to simplify here is a program that is focused on customers. And when I talk about customers, is being our operations and company functional groups as well. A program that keeps employees positive and empowered, and a program that continually improves by innovation and optimization. Mostly with the use of technology. I have to say that this is very important. You need technology to apply operational excellence. So in conclusion, operational excellence is supported in pillars that are the foundation of success for an operator, and that's why it's represented like that in this slide. Let's talk about the context in the industry as a whole, from the wellhead to the well socket. It is clear that an operational excellent program adds value. I don't need to go through that, but I will say otherwise, why to have it, no? But we will be more, I would like to be more specific about this point in the next slide, really. What I would like to highlight here is how the operations excellent structure should be established. So business direction with priorities, which is a vision is needed. And based on that vision, a risk assessment with mitigation is required, which is mechanisms to measure and improve. And the most important asset, which is the development of people to sustain successful programs and governance to increase the sections. the results are not more than low cost and increased production by a structured way to identify opportunities. It's simple like that. So let's use some examples because probably that's the best way to understand that. In upstreams, for instance, land data and emerging technologies, which is investing in technologies to continue differentiating from peers. That's a key action in operations excellence. And another example, I would say applicable to all sectors, could be to automate all required tasks that are repetitive and manual. That's also part of operations excellence. And that's what we really need to continue doing. The value is always evaluated by results, as we all know, or in this case, I will really call it outcomes. So proven outcomes are reduction of costs and risks due to governance and processes in place. And in a very simple way, I'm not gonna walk you through each of these, but just wanted to give you the idea. That helps to, all of these steps helps to fit nimbleness, enhancement of culture. And what I mean by that is there is a pursuit of efficiencies and improvements, and it becomes culture. At some point, it becomes culture in the company. So it's difficult at the beginning, but once everybody is into that path, it becomes culture. All of these cascades in discovering of scale opportunities, which improves communication as well, develops the intrinsic need to accelerate transformation and innovation, and I would say finally lands in the bottom line of the company, which again, lower cost plus increased production equal to lower cost per unit. That's really the critical piece that I want you to take for the benefits. I would like to share how we do it here in Cheniere. So, which is not very different on how other oil and gas companies have structured their operational excellence programs, but this is a good example. Our system is called Cheniere Integrated Management System, or is recognized internally in the company as a SIMS. So we talk about SIMS here. It's a way to talk about it. We have 12 elements and significant number of essential business process structure in these elements that integrates the company vision, the company mission, the values, policies, and strategic goals to set the platform. And that's very critical because if you don't do that, you are going to be working in isolation. Allowing that, that really allows systematically progress towards world-class performance at the end. A management system will provide the foundation for how the company does business and to assist in executing the strategic initiatives and in a consistent and reliable manner. The foundation of pillars, and that's something I would like to show here or to talk more in more detail. The foundation of pillars, the number one in Cheniere is recommended to be the leadership. Why the leadership? Because you need that sponsorship, you need that vision to be there. The other elements represent the day-to-day functions that are absolutely critical for a safe, reliable, and efficient operations. We are talking about risks and incident management, change management, crisis management. I'm reading from the slide, development of people and design and construction, many of those elements, but those are the day-to-day. So the main takeaway from structuring a system is the desired state the company wants to achieve and what we need to build to get there in a sustainable way. So let's go to a question because I have been talking too long. How many key areas or elements has Cheniere identified in the operations excellence management system? And that one you can do it very easy because I talk about it.
So I find it interesting, you know, having a graphic that really gives you that visualization of the goals and the priorities all in that one graphic is pretty interesting. I mean, we know that humans like really respond to graphics even before language or anything else like that. Have you found that being able to communicate out using visuals like that makes you more capable of achieving your results? I mean, there's certainly you could also be like, well, what's the point of this graphic? Like, how do I get the word out? And anyway, just wondering about your use of that.
Actually, there is a background that I would like to share. When we started our management system, we have a brainstorm with the groups and with the new generations. We wanted to see how we could impact more. Initially we had pillars, and by saying, okay, how we can come across very strong in a way that everybody will always have that here. When we talk about Sims, they can see the wheel, you know? And that was a collection of ideas, and the wheel won. It will stay longer. So that was the way that we did it. We have different ways, but we definitely were targeting a visual on it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, okay, everybody got it right.
They're paying attention.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. 12 elements. So the next one, from 1 to 12, what is the final element of Chenier's operation excellence system?
Final. Uh-oh, I didn't get this one.
You will need to be very detailed or very attention detail to respond this one, because what's in the wheel? Just guess, don't worry.
What do you think the relationship is between like company values and company operational model? Is that something you think about a lot as well?
Total. I think that you need to, what we do here very well is we connect everything. We connect our mission, our vision, our values as part of that culture. And once you have that platform, you really can succeed with your programs.
The practical, the connection between the vision.
Totally. And we actually, the company has, you open your screen and you will see their values, vision. So that helps a lot. So what's the result here?
Was it governance?
Actually, from 1 to 12, what is the final element is governance. Good job, everybody. Really good job. Okay. The last thing that I want to cover from operations excellence, which is always good to talk about both sides, you know. It's not necessarily that everything is perfect. So let's talk about that both sides. A fully functional management system is needed to support that operational excellence, as I talk, but it is challenging. I'm not gonna paint it in a different way. And the reason why companies sometimes could take a decision to operate outside of this model or of these programs, resources are needed and dedicated to the purpose. Structuring a system doesn't happen overnight, and it may take longer than everybody expects. There are inefficiencies to manage or build processes and structures, which means one thing, you know, you have to follow a procedure. That definitely creates an inefficiency. And there is an adaptation to manage as well. But the business case needs to be understood, and that's something that should be really important. And when I say the business case needs to be understood by everybody in the company, is where we are going. You know, we are going to a sustainable operations. There is a cost benefit in the long term. Otherwise, there is a high potential to fail if that is not in place. And I can discuss largely about mitigations plans to succeed, but the most critical one, and again, this is mostly based on my experience, is a strong leadership and management skills, because we need to be able to have that continued analysis of risks during the implementation and proactively overcome it to maintain the execution and the pace that is required. So again, just wanted to show you the full picture about challenges and mitigations, because everybody needs to understand that. Okay, with that, I think that I have closed the operations excellence, and really, I would like, if you allow me, I would like to talk about my insights during my career. I'm really with this high potential in this group. humbly and with all the respect, I would like to share some of my insights that I hope you can find value, or at least make you think about your own career or your path forward and your future in general. You know, my learnings are my learnings, but I hope that you have yours as well. And I would like to share a couple of stories here. But let's talk about, and for those who work with me or for me or have been and have any relation with me, I'm always saying self-awareness, self-awareness. And let me say why. When I talk self-awareness, it's awareness in general. Early in my career, I learned that was probably the most powerful tool I should use. Regardless if you're a subject matter expert, if you are somebody with a management career, you need to understand your environment. You need to understand your capacities. And I'm going to share an example. When I was working in offshore, one of the young new engineers, she came to me one day, and she shared that she was really struggling the field work that she was doing, because she needed to go to the field, she needed to work in the drilling in the drilling area. And I asked her why, and she said, I don't think that they have any, I don't think that they believe that I can be a person, because the operators are always trying me and testing me. And I say, okay, and what have you tried to do to change that perception? And she said, I would like to be able to physically be there and move valves with them. And I was thinking at that point, and I said, wait a minute. And we had a lot of conversations. She actually a very, very brilliant engineer. And at some point I said, look at me. I'm 115 pounds. I'm 5'06" inches. I will never think about it because I can't. Seriously, I don't even. I will be able to add any value there. But the issue is, I said, you can use other things. Be aware about your strengths. Be aware about your capacity, and use your brain if you want to compete. But I don't want you to start getting your career so early frustrated because you don't have the physical strength that they have. And we work a lot on that. That was a good outcome after that. But that's only one condition. You know, self-awareness is so critical. I have don't take up the tour from your goals. And let me be more specific here. I repeat this in my career when I have been mentoring all the time, is don't allow your distractions or the distractions to move you or divert from that point when you need to get. And yes, I'm going to set you a question here if you had that question, because that's the typical question during all my career. How easy is for a woman to work in different areas of operations in this industry? Life quality, balance, all of that. And I'm going to save you that question because I really believe that we need to understand what we can add as a value. We need to use it, but we should not allow ourselves to be unfocused on what we need to get. And let me tell you something. Yes, it's hard. And I'm going to say this to this group. It's not an easy career for a woman. But we are here because we have passion for this. We are here because we see the value that we add. So my point here really is we need to get focused on that and do not allow the scrutiny of every day from somebody to distract you from what you want and where you want to get. And I have another one, which is have a strategic talent approach. I really believe that this is fundamental. And when I talk about the strategic talent approach, it's recognize who you have working with or for and use that talent. Do not, I always said that it goes to the next one. It's focus on the strengths, build on the strengths and exploit that one. I have an assignment, and I really talk about this one probably in any speech that I give because I keep it in my heart. I had an assignment in Oklahoma many years ago. And they transferred me there as an operations manager. And I received a group 70% eligible for retirement. And I'm talking about 12 years ago. So I was younger than now. I'm not younger anymore, but I'm not young anymore, but I was younger than now. And I still remember the first week I called my boss here in Houston. I said, are you setting me for failure, really? Because you can fire me. You don't need to do this. And I saw the group and I saw how much they were struggling with. Was the first women they have as a supervisor. I'm telling you, all of them eligible for retirement. So you can see the age of the population. I was the first one not being an American, which means for them that they saw me like, okay, you are not from here. And I was younger than all of them. And at that point, I remember, and I said, I need to use this talent, and I associate this too with something very, very important in our careers, empathy. We need to wear the shoes of everybody else. Before we take a decision, before we move forward with any actions, that's really critical. We need to have empathy. Still was tough. And in addition to that, this was the best one. I don't know for those who have been in Oklahoma, but the Okie accent is tough, and they didn't understand me. So that was like a perfect combination of nothing is gonna work here. I remember this one very well because at that point I figured it out. I'm the one who needs to. I mean, the cheese was moved for them. I'm the one who needs to adapt. I started working with all of them. At the end, we were a family, really. Leaving that asset was so difficult. They were the best people ever I had in that area, and a lot of value from there. So that's what I really keep that. The next one that I would like to share as my insight is be present. Be present regardless of your position and hold it with ownership. That, if you ask me today, and I'm going to save you another question. If you ask me today, what I regret from my career is probably not being more present at the beginning of my career. And let me talk about that. When I talk about be present, is you go to the meeting, you are part of that meeting. You are sitting at the table. Don't look for the chair on the corner. If you are discussing a topic and you have responsibility on that one, you be present. Sometimes what really happens is we are for any reason, we become shy on that. But we have a voice and we have knowledge and we have the opportunity to have that discussion face-to-face and one-on-one. So always be present. If you are here, if you are in the office from 8 to 5, this is the time to be present. The next one is something that is very interesting because some people could understand it probably in different ways, but I will explain it. Lead with humility, empathy, gratitude, integrity, and ethics. Check that box every day. When I talk about humility, don't take it wrong. It's not that you need to be weak. It's not that you need to please everybody. When I say humility, you are in your role because you are serving somebody, because you are helping somebody to be developed, because you are taking somebody from here to here. That's what really I call influencing your group, influencing people. And I talk about empathy, but also gratitude, because you are nobody without your group. You are nobody without your peers. The success is a combination. So be thankful for that. Be thankful for that combination of knowledge and combination of many things that happens every day in your work environment. Be an effective role model. And again, I'm not trying to be very, to use our gender here, but we are being observed. Be a role model. Set by example every day. And yes, like it or not, we are observed every day for everything we do. So better we set that example, and we cannot ask for something that we are not showing. That's the opportunities that we have every day in what we do. And finally, this is mostly for your day-to-day, build that vast network business context. And what I mean with that is don't hesitate to take responsibilities. Don't hesitate to take new challenges. with the discipline that you have gained in your education, with the efforts that you have put in place, and yes, the extra effort sometimes just to compete, you have the opportunity to build on all this business context that is going to help you later for any other either opportunity, decision. So if somebody asks you to do, hey, could you help me with this? Be open to at least try it. It doesn't mean that you are going to succeed in everything, but try it. Believe me, my career is made of big failures, but that's fine. I've learned from there and I move on to the next step by using what I needed to use. So really that's what I want to share with all of you today. And thanks again for allowing me to share my insights, because this is very important. I hope that you can take whatever you see from there. And I just want to thanks for taking the challenge to be part of this wonderful industry, because it's not for everybody. If you are here, it's because you are special. I can tell you that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we have time for Q&A. Can you put your little advice list again up? Because
sure,
that was not provoking, and I don't think I'm the only one.
And I have 1,000 of histories that I can share, but we will need a lot of time.
Well, we have a few minutes, so I was actually going to ask you about some stories. I wanted more stories out of you. I don't know if you have one in mind already, or if I could. But also whoever has questions, please feel free to type it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask. But my thought, I mean, there was so much there. And I was wondering about the networking thing. Like, we're all here to network. Do you have any stories about how you've built your network, like failures or successes? Like, some of us try to go get a mentor. I mean, when you're kind of starting to build your network, there's a lot of mistakes that can be made just trying to build it. And I'm curious if you have any stories about what works and what doesn't for you in building those relationships.
Every day with everything we do, you are building something. And that's the way that I see it. My networking is based on what I have done in the past, who has been my supervisor, the way that I have interacted with them. And I'm always wonder how I receive an email sometimes, a call sometimes, and they remember something. They remember something I did. They would like to know more about that one. So if you really ask me, I have one simple way to say how you can build networking. Believe me, I'm terrible. I know my skills. I'm terrible too for selling. I can't sell anything. I am an engineer, so that's not my area. So I cannot even sell myself. But I think that doing everything right, or trying to do it right, and trying to do it with, I'm coming back to that word that some people don't like it, but humility. You know, if you show that you really are doing something because you are trying to do it in the best way, that always takes you to another level. That always, they will remember that. And I have outstanding people now in my networking, and people that has a lot of value. And I think it's because of that. I will remember something that they said or that they did in any meeting, or we connected anytime and we have a short conversation and something impressed me, and I will keep it. I will say, that's a networking person I have to keep.
We have a question in the chat. What are your tips on managing work and operations and home life?
Okay, that's, I will say, just be smart. Just be smart, because it's not simple. I'm going to tell you, my profession, my career has been all the time connected. And having somebody by your side that understands that. So I have spent a significant time explaining to my family what I do, because more than they understand, more that I can use my time and multitask and do whatever I have to do. So personal life is something balancing once you are in this career is an interesting question, because I don't believe on that. I don't believe on that balance or quality in your life. I believe that you could become very skillful to manage your time, to manage work, to be able to be present at your home and in the office as well. So it's just skills. You need to have that time, but you need to allow yourself to that. I will, for instance, we always try to have dinner, and we didn't allow phones on the table, period, because I will know that I will be looking at that. Sometimes I spent a lot of minutes and time with my daughter explaining why the industry was clean and why it was important, and why, because she's green, obviously, so we are horrible. And I spent a lot of time showing her with science that was not that bad, because I knew that I will have a partner there when she will be talking about that one. My husband as well, and we use simple things like playing golf together, because that was the quality of time that we had. So we will do it together, we will not do it with anybody else. We will play together. And it's just being very skillful. But it's not simple. I don't lie with that one.
Have another question in the chat. What is Shenier's biggest obstacle toward energy transition and carbon tracking? And also on a personal, what keeps you awake at night? What are your favorite aspects of your career at Chenier? So a few questions in one, but energy transition and carbon tracking.
As I mentioned during the presentation, we have a very good tracking records in general. The LNG production is a very clean energy, and I'm going to admit here in front of everybody, that was one of the drivers for moving to this industry, because I was working, actually my last assignment was in Africa before I moved to Chenier. And we were very environmentally responsible, but I had a lot of attraction for this part of the industry because I knew that was the cleanest. Mm-hmm. So obstacles, no. Chenier will always do whatever they have to do to go to the next step. That's why we continue pursuing opportunities. So I don't see obstacles. Obviously, there are regulations that we have to follow. We also need to consider how much we can do and where we can get with our processes. That will be the nature of the business. That will be the main obstacle. But it doesn't mean that we are not open to pursue more and more opportunities in that area. And what I will say, the second piece of your question, or the question that was what keeps me awake, I really try hard to not allow that to happen in my life because I want to sleep. But when you work in operations, you are always worried that something could happen. That I took a decision many years ago that if I needed to go and knock the door or any family and say your husband, your mother, or whoever is not coming back to this house because he lost his life in an accident in our plants, at that point, I will reassess my whole career. So safety, keeping everybody safe. That's really the one.
Do you think that after this last year with all the changes in really the world economy and energy use, I mean, we can't exactly predict the future, but there seems to be a shift, consolidation, all of this happening. Do you think that ESG is going to take on more of those, like, I don't know, do you think there's more emphasis on ESG, and do you think that it's giving y'all more momentum to go further on that and people as part of that recipe? I mean, from safety to, I don't know, mental health to all of these pieces of the story.
I say it in a very simple way. A safety business is a good business to keep. If the industry decides to move from there, we are taking the wrong decisions here. Yes, I understand what you are saying. This is probably nothing is going to be the same after this pandemic, most likely. I don't think that the norm or the normal that we knew is going to be the same one. We have to use that learnings from the pandemic. We have to apply the learnings and we are seeing in many of you in this industry, you are seeing changes in other companies, significant changes. I just heard yesterday or the day before that Kinder Morgan, they took the decision to never come back to the offices. They are going to maintain everything virtually. So they are restructuring. And I was impressed. But look at that kind of changes are coming. I have friends in other companies that they are going through a reassessment on how they do things. So it's not, I'm not expecting to be the same, but I'm not expecting the industry to sacrifice the safety of their people, because that will be the last thing that you should do if you want to keep a good business. So my expectation is no.
So I'm going to ask you one more question, then we'll close things up and have table talk again with everyone. But wondering, a lot of people have been experienced layoffs and downsizing that happened over the last year. Where do you see the opportunity? Like, where do you think a lot of the opportunities for jobs, new hires, expertise, where do you see that?
Okay, I'm going to share a very interesting event. I have a good friend. She's an engineer, electrical engineer, and her daughter is a mechanical engineer, graduated with honors. And she called me and said, I need you to talk to my daughter, because and she works from one of the majors one of the majors here in Houston in the oil and gas industry. And I said, I wanted to talk to my daughter because she's really considering moving from this industry to another industry at this point. And I said, hey, I'd be happy to talk to her, but you need to consider something which probably you don't like it, but if she's considering that, she might have a reason for that. And that's what we need to do better in this industry. After talking to her, I understood what was her driver, the way that the company was managing the pandemic and the way that the company was adjusting after the pandemic was really impacting her. And that was really shocking to me, because I said, we need to learn from this. We need to keep our workforce motivated and see the value of continuing working in this industry now in this situation. But interestingly, she moved. I mean, at the end, she moved. And I was not trying to convince her to do the same. I just was trying to understand. She moved to the finance area. As an engineer, she was taken by visa. And she didn't even, she was taken like that because we have a significant, vast knowledge in this industry. When you work in this industry, you learn from everything, that our value can be seen by any other industry, if that's the point. But what I will say is, I'm not asking you to move, because I really believe that we need to continue building in this industry. More important, I will just close this by saying, before us, many women paved the road for us. We continue doing that for the new generations. And again, if you are working for the energy, it's because you like it, because you have passion, because you see the value, because you have too much to give, that you just need to continue doing it. Don't give up. Don't give up. That's really my point.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I know everyone, we've had lots of thank yous in the chat, and thank you for spending time away from, doing your job and passing on some knowledge to us. We really appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen right now. If I succeed at sharing my screen, I'm going to share my screen. All right, so I want to just highlight upcoming events real quick. We have lots more virtual luncheons. We're probably going to go back in person sometime in the summer, so we'll keep you abreast of that. But we have the commissioner of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality coming up April 21st. We have a private equity panel May 11th. We have let's see, the commissioner of the Texas Railroad Commission giving an industry update May 19th. And actually in June 16th, we have the director, like the chief, research officer. She's the head of research at Technip FMC, a really interesting person, going to be speaking about technological advances in the industry. So lots of great sessions coming up. We certainly hope to see you at those. And we will be sending out recommendations. Sorry. We will be sending out recommendations that Patty has given us about her, from her experience, from those links to the industry, also some other ideas. So we'll have that for you in the email. Please fill out your incognito form, which is the feedback survey. We rely on those to get your feedback about speakers and get ideas for other topics and speakers that may be great. And that does it. So we're going to keep this open until 1 o'clock, but we're going to go ahead and send y'all to breakout sessions again. Your assignment is to introduce yourself, get contact info from each other, connect on LinkedIn, but also you can discuss what are your takeaways today, and maybe what part of the value creation cycle is your organization in, where are some of the focuses, what are you fixing? Actually, I had another idea that you might want to discuss. Think of something that needs some operational excellence in your job and maybe discuss what the business case would be. What would it take to start improving that in your company? Brainstorm topics for you. Thank you all so much. We'll go to breakout sessions. All right, I'm going to stop the share. How do I stop it?
Okay.
All right.
Can I leave now, Annette? Is that fine? Do you need me for anything else?
Well, no, I guess not, actually. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks really for having me. I love to talk to this kind of public, so I really like it.
And I really appreciated your operations definition, integrating people and processes to produce a desired outcome. It's something I've talked about. I have a contact who's a HR VP, and she and I talk about that a lot. She's also over HSC and marketing, so she has her hands in a lot of stuff. And one of the things she talks about a lot is an operating model and how you can forget that you need the people and the processes to really be suited to each other and come together and be realistic. And
I didn't share that, but one of the interesting things when you work in operations, people really relies on bolt, nuts, all the mechanic work, you know, but they don't see the big picture and how fundamental it is to have these integrated structure systems to be successful. And that's something interesting. And sometimes I have heard that like kind of like you are just killing fires every day, so you don't really need to have place. Yes. So it's very interesting. That's why we really need to educate more and more for those. I can tell you, I work in projects 13 years before I moved to operations. And once I came to operations, I say I will never get back. I love it. You need to have the material for that. It's not the same. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. Oh, there's people in the chat talking and I can't see everything now. Let's see, I'm going to stop my screen share.
So, right. Annette, I will be interested probably to join the board. So I'm going to send me the information. Yes, I will love to. Send me the information if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Any way that I can help more, at least the new generations, I will love to do that. Okay.
Oh, that's wonderful. And there's the executive membership as well, which you and some of your entourage may be interested in. It's a really great way. They do mini sessions kind of like this and breakfast and things where it's only executives are allowed. So it's a really great networking and learning environment. I don't get to go to them, but they sound great.
Okay. if you could send me whatever I need to use for that, I would love to look at that. Okay.
Great. Okay. Well, I hope we get to meet again soon. We'll have to reconnect and check in sometime later this year. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Annette. You take care, okay? Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Okay, it's just you and me now.
So everyone's in room 1.
Yeah. We only have like 7 left. And so the ones that were in 2 that dropped off and 3, I just moved them into room 1, you know? So they're all in, but they don't know there's only 1 breakout room. So they got 7 in there. So, you know, they're having a great time. So,
yeah, that's probably good.
Yeah,
it was a small group today. You know, I was thinking I might need to talk to the committee about having a few, like, I think people are going back to in person, and maybe we need to do only once a month. Although we have them all scheduled, and the ones we have scheduled are market leading probably, but
yes.
I was thinking we should probably cancel the 2nd June one. I don't know if it's already booked yet. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless we can go to in person. I mean, the way vaccine rollout has been, I wonder if we can go to in person in June.
In June or July.
We have it planned for July right now.
Yeah. I don't have any venues, or, well, I haven't given them any dates or anything or pulled contracts.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No.
I thought you had it like sort of.
Well, we were waiting, you know, I mean, I'm just on hold, like, don't pull any contracts because I don't have full dates, you know, to give them.
Oh, interesting. Well, we're booking, our team just started a flurry of booking June, July, August, September. So, so I guess we'll have some dates for you, and maybe we should think about doing in person.
Well, you know what? Some places, like I know the downtown at the Houston Club, we can do it in person, and they have the capability to do like also video it live at the same time, because they have that built into their overhead projector. Because I talked to them about that.
Yeah.
The Westin we can't, Landry's we can't, but you know, I know there we could, and we could give it a shot.
And we could still do like breakout rooms so people could have.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't like that idea before, but in the new, I feel like something's starting to change because people are getting vaccinated.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. So, you know, I mean, whenever you're ready, we could look into it. That's for sure.
Well, I think we have a committee meeting next week, so
it might be something to think about, you know.
Yeah, we'll have to put that on the list as we go through and confirm.
Yeah. I'll go back and look through my emails, the ones that I had, and I know I saved them from the Downtown City Club, to where we would do a trial test. You and I, or whoever, Sabrina, we would all go there and actually broadcast something, right? I would broadcast it because I could plug it in to, you know, so it's like the speakers there. But the cool thing is, when the speakers finish speaking, then we could see the people on their big screen like they are here on Zoom, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. The people on the Zoom screen can't see the people sitting at the dining room tables though, you know, but they could, right? So I forgot what he called it. It's not a podcast, some kind of streaming capability that they have of streaming something that's live, you know, in real time.
Maybe that is good, because I think that the talking head things are, I mean, our table talk thing is good, but I think they're starting to in person that's going to compete with that.
Correct. So anyway, hey, listen, it's 12:57. I got 5 people left in one breakout room. I think I should close the breakout rooms.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, because that would give them 12:58. I mean, it's Sabrina, Sarah, Laura, Anastasia, and Lola. So that's it. That's all we got left. So let's bring him back.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna bring him back. All right.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. By the time they come, it'll be 12:59 anyway.
Yeah. All right.
And at least I had how many people were left when I did my announcements? Like 15?
No, I think more like 17. I think you had everybody. Not everybody jumps into the last breakout room though. That's where we lose them all.
They leave, I know. Well, I've left before too, because you're just like,
Yeah.
sometimes you have time to hang around and sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't. Exactly. Exactly. All right, here we go. They'll be here in 20 some seconds.
Gotcha.
And
I can't believe I got the vaccine. I feel like I don't know. It's just it's interesting. Like, you know, you get it. Well, I just mentally speaking, you know, I'm like,
yeah.
huh,
Yes.
what does this mean for me? Like
yes. Yes. No, I get it. I get it. It's like, okay, I'm walking into HEB now. Here they come.
Hi, welcome back, those remaining. Thank you so much. It was really great to host y'all today, and go register for the next ones. Let people know, and let us know if you need help getting connected within WEN.
Yeah, great job on this one. Y'all are doing wonderful picking out the speakers, and these are really, the format's great. So good job, team.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. And thanks.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
Okay. All right.